death, taxes, and the 49ers beating the Cowboys. Welcome in, everybody. I am Seth Floyd Hansen. This is the latest edition of the Seth Floyd Show. And finally, we get a happy reaction video. Holy crap. Now, it didn't go as well as I had hoped. It looked like it was about to be a blowout there in the third quarter. And then in 49ers fashion of 2024, we can't blow anybody out. Everybody has to have a chance to come back. And a couple times a year, they're going to come back and beat us. And that's exactly what it felt like last night. But at the end of the day, you got the victory. So who cares? Who cares, right? You got it done. And it was pretty up and down. I in the first half, I thought we were losing this game. I thought that we just weren't a good team. And I still am not positive that we're a good team. And in the first half, there were some obvious reasons. Like you could see that they were shooting themselves in the foot. That long 70-yard touchdown pass to Debo, called back on a hold. Like, golly. It was a hold. I feel like it was a hold. But I don't think he needed to hold. It wasn't one of those he got beat and his only option was to hold. That's what I was frustrated about. Like, dude, just get in front of him. Just get in front of him. Get your hands inside. That was frustrating. You had big plays that were called back in the run game that we were pushing to be in field goal range and on our way to score, and then hold on Juszczyk, hold on Kittle. Brock was inaccurate in that first half. Okay, the deep end to Kittle on a 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 8, whatever it was, just airmailed it. The 4th and 3, that's on Brock, guys. That's on Brock. The old, like, if you can touch it, you can catch it saying is like 80s, 90s football that is just like a great goal to tell yourself, but is not reality, okay? That ball, you got exactly what you wanted. Cowboys bringing the house. You had just a quick slant, a quick drag route over the middle to Debo. Brock has to put that on him. And if you watch the replay, when I watched it live, I thought it was just like on his back hip and Debo just dropped it, but you watch the replay, I'm sure you all agree with me, it's like back here, like you're just not gonna make that catch. Brock, just put it on him. Okay, so I was so frustrated in that first half. And then the third quarter felt like 2023 football again. And the difference between 2023 and 2024 is what you saw in the third quarter. That's what the Niners were doing the majority of most games last year until they got to the playoffs and that 3-game slide they had. But where the offense was just smothering, just picking up 5 yards a clip, just uber efficient on offense. And then defensively, we weren't the best defense in the league, but they got the stops when they needed them, and they would do that most of the game. Well, this year, this is how it's been, where you might get a half of that or a quarter of that. They just haven't been able to put that together. And a big part of that is you got a lot of young guys playing defensively, and on offense you do too, but we know that missing Christian McCaffrey is just such a big piece of the offense, more than just running the ball, but what he opens up in the pass game, his pass pro. So anyway, I say all that to say this. I'm very happy that the 49ers won. Let's go through some of the stats, and then I'll give you what this game really means going forward, okay? Purdy, after a rough start we just talked about, looks good. He looked good. He figured it out in the second half and made some big throws, okay? He's 18 to 26, 260 yards, 1 touchdown. That's 69 completion percentage. That's what you're used to seeing from Purdy. That efficiency is what you're used to seeing from Purdy. He made some big plays in the second half, running the ball. Brock Purdy this year, okay, this is a big thing. Brock for sure has not been as good as he was last year. He has come down to earth a little bit, and I think he's still finding his way. Let's be honest. When the run game isn't as good as it was last year, and you can't just have guys wide open from play action pass, like he is figuring out how to play ball that way. And I think he can get there. I don't think he's quite there yet. But this was a nice step in the right direction against a Cowboys defense that's pretty banged up. So it is a lot of wait and see still. Because to be fair, guys, he's had some bad games this year. He's played worse this year through 8 games than he played last year, okay? For a number of reasons, but that's just the reality, okay? In the second half, he did what you should do against banged up defenses, okay? So that's encouraging, and I'm excited about that, okay? we'll see going forward, but I'm excited about that step in the direction. Isaac Orendo, like sneaky, maybe MVP of this game. He's not, because you have George Kittle, who did his thing on National Tight Ends Day. What up, George? Huge fan, okay? But Isaac Orendo, listen, I was so down on Isaac Orendo, so down on him. He had the fumble against the Patriots, that kick return, and then I'm in the minority here. He did not look good against Seattle. He had the one run at the end of the game, and he gets credit for that. He hit the seam. He's very fast, but he did not. He runs high. Most of his runs before this game, so those runs that he had against Seattle, he runs high, which means when he gets tackled, he usually is stopped where he gets hit. Okay, the guys that push the pile, that run through tackles, or they might not break the tackle, but they get hit, they're low, they lower their shoulder, and they're able to pick up another 2 or 3 yards. Like, that's not Isaac Orendo's game. At least it hasn't been. And that's what he looked like against Seattle. I was like, I don't trust this kid. Like, he looks like a guy who hasn't played very much running back. Well, today he looked different. Today he hit the hole harder. He was more decisive. He still runs a little high for my taste, but he was gashing them. He had some big runs. So if he's going to take that next step, you're starting to see what the 49ers envisioned when they drafted him. And as a former running back, like, I'm extra critical. Not that I get it. Like, I didn't play in the league. I didn't play D1. Okay, but like, I know what a running back is supposed to look like, and today he looks like what a running back is supposed to look like. A lot of burst, a lot of speed, physical in his runs, which I didn't see in Seattle. So I was like I was ready to give Patrick Taylor more carries, because at least he lowers his shoulder. He hits the hole, he lowers his shoulder. Of course, his ceiling isn't as high as Isaac Orendo's, but this guy looks like a running back. Well, Orendo showed me something today. He clearly has taken a step. He's clearly getting more comfortable in that role. He's not going to be the bell cow. It sucks that JP Mason hurt his shoulder again, it sounds like. But all intents and purposes, it sounds like you're getting CMC back after the bye. As long as he doesn't have any setbacks when they practice next week, it sounds like you're getting CMC back. Now, I expect CMC to be on somewhat of a pitch count. He'll take most of the snaps, but he's not going to take 90% of the snaps and touches like he did last year, I wouldn't think. So Isaac Orendo is still going to be a factor. JP Mason is still going to be a factor. But that's exciting. You need your rookies to play well, and Isaac Orendo looks like he's in the right direction and looks like a good draft pick. Finally drafted a running back that looks good. We've never drafted a running back that looks good. Elijah Mitchell, sure, but he was. We take these 3rd-round running backs and then they all suck. Elijah looked great, but he was like a 5th rounder or 7th rounder or something. But he's hurt, man. And I love Elijah Mitchell. I'm bummed for him. But Isaac Orendo coming out game, 14 carries, 85 yards, first career touchdown. I'm in the minority too. I wish he would have scored. I wish he would have scored on that last drive. Less than a minute. I think it was less than a minute. Cowboys don't have any timeouts. You would have gone up 13. I'm in the camp of just score, man. Pad those stats, make the score look bigger. That's just me selfishly as a 49er fan. Going up, beating them by 13 looks a lot better than beating them by 6, but whatever. I'm excited about him. And speaking of rookies, guys, Pearsall is going to be a dude. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not proclaiming Pearsall to be like a true number one. I don't think he's going to be a true number one. But he's a guy that can play in the NFL. He's going to be like a solid number 2 who can make some serious plays for you. He had 4 catches, 4 catches for like 38 yards. His big 39-yard run around the end, like, that's what I've been waiting for with Pearsall. That's like an easy way to get an explosive rookie involved. Give him the end around. Give him the jet sweep. Great timed play call by Kyle Shanahan there. You had to have that first down. Like, things were getting scary. You did not want to give the ball back to Dallas again. Great play call. I loved it. And then Pearsall, like, you're seeing, he knows what to do with the ball in his hands. Okay? Pushes outside. Guy has the leverage, puts his foot in the ground, and gets upfield. Like, he's a dude. He can play. He's fast. He knows what to do with the ball in his hands. He's getting open. Okay, he had 4 catches tonight. He had another. It would have been a big play if you guys remember. So I was talking to Isaac Orendo. He still has stuff to work on. His pass protection. Okay, a miracle that Brock Purdy doesn't fumble the ball. You're only up 6. You're on your own 30-yard line or whatever it was. He gets smoked by Demarion Overshawn. Okay, shout out to Overshawn. UT, go Longhorns. But And if you watch the replay, it's because Guerrero thought he was coming more outside. He took a bad angle. Purdy gets smoked. But on that play, Pearsall was open. And that's where Brock was looking. It looked like to me, and he would have had a big play there. So I say that to say this, like Pearsall is only going to get better. And so far, after getting shot 2 months ago, he said after the game, I've only had like 4 full speed practices since I've come back. Like he will get better as he syncs up with Brock more, gets more reps with Brock. Like you should be very excited about that pick. Again, excited as in he's going to be a contributor that will make your team better. He is not going to be a number 1, not yet anyway. Like I would put my money on him just being like a really stout number 2, maybe a 1B, but he's going to be able to do some of the things Debo does because he's good with the ball in his hands. You should be excited. That was one of my biggest takeaways from this game. I was like, man, Pearsall is making an impact on the game, and I'm excited to see how he develops going forward. And like that's all you can hope for is that your rookies look good and look like they're going to contribute because we gave away 3 first-round picks. We've whiffed on a lot of draft picks over the years. So to keep this train rolling, to continue to be like a division contender and like in the mix to like make some noise in the NFC, you have to have your rookies hit. They just have to because you've paying so many guys high amounts of money. You're going to pay Brock Purdy $60 million for better or for worse. You're going to pay him that money. So you have to have these young guys hit. That's just the reality of it. And so as all 49er fans know, this looks like a great draft for all of that. Very excited. My next takeaway, defense has shown some flashes. I thought the defense played really well last week. I think the offense was so incapable last Sunday, but you had the Chiefs at 14 points going into the fourth. No, you didn't make the play when you needed it most, but for the most part, like they stopped the run. They put Mahomes into some weird situations. He made a couple bad throws. Like you played well, even though the score didn't reflect it. Tonight, you played well outside of those 2 drives in the fourth quarter, which is really, 49ers, can we just have a regular game where we're not having a heart attack? Doesn't feel like it. I'm wondering, it feels like Sorensen went to a little bit of prevent defense there, which I'm never a big fan of. I will say this, like I got to own up. I say that the prevent defense is you need to run it in that situation. I'm saying you need to run it in that situation, but you need to run it better in that situation is because the idea of the prevent is like, okay, we're up multiple scores. We need to give them like, fine, we're going to give up stuff underneath, but we're going to make them take a ton of time off the clock if they're going to score. But you were giving up these huge chunk plays to CeeDee Lamb. That's not how the prevent is supposed to work. The prevent is, all right, fine. If you want to just dink and dunk underneath, we'll give that up. You're going to run the clock. Well, CD is getting huge chunk plays, so they had some issues there. And that is a little bit of the Dre Greenlaw effect. When you see the Niners getting gashed over the middle on these crossing routes, that's because Dre Greenlaw is not there anymore, okay? Fred is great over the middle, but to have a second guy like Dre might be as good of a cover linebacker as Fred Warner is, that's where you're feeling that. And they've got to get that tightened up. So I'm support you run the prevent in that defense. In that situation, you're up multiple scores with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Like that's when you run it. When you don't run it is when you're up 6 and the team has a chance to score. And look, they didn't run prevent on that last drive, and they did great. Okay, 4 straight incompletions. They played well. You're lucky Turpin didn't catch the ball. Demo had good coverage on that though. The second down play or the third down play, I don't remember which one, but where it was down the sideline. Demo was in a great spot. Great throw by Dak Prescott. Turpin just couldn't bring it in. You got lucky there. The fourth down play, like Cowboys fans, I don't want to hear it, man. That was tangled feet. There was no like shoving or anything. Jair Brown, I think it was Brown or Mustafa coming over the top, was going to make a play at the ball, looking at the ball, their feet get tangled. Like that's a good no call. I shouldn't be hearing anybody making like it was a huge problem, whatever. Anyway, so defense put it together. They got the stop when they needed, and you got out of that game. Lastly, I forgot to talk about Kittle, national tight end day. What a national treasure! Like what an incredible, just like He's been keeping us afloat, man. Kittle is having one of the best seasons so far through 8 games. He's having, statistically, might be his best season so far. I haven't looked at the numbers. He tonight had 6 catches, 128 yards, another touchdown. Also, you want to complain, like, I understand on Kittle's touchdown, but guys, the receiver has a right to the inside. He looks like he's running a slant with his head down. You've got the corner, hands on him, like just kind of steering him that direction inside. And it was bang, bang. And I don't think he saw the dude. I think it was a pick play. He was not expecting that kind of contact because you see Chris Conley like laying on the ground in pain. Anyway, I thought it was a good no call. Of course, I'm a biased 49ers fan. Regardless, touchdown for Kittle. He deserves all the praise and all the credit because he does everything. He's putting up Travis Kelce numbers right now. And he's a better blocker than Travis Kelce. Okay, Kelce will always have the accolades. He plays with Mahomes, so he's had some of these unbelievable statistical years. He's got 2 Super Bowls, so like, and I like Travis Kelce a lot, so not knocking Travis Kelce. I'm just saying what Kittle's doing is incredible. What he's doing is really good right now. He's keeping this team afloat. He's been the spark in the pass game up to this point this year. So great. My overall take, like, this team needs to learn to play for 60 minutes. The team has to figure out how to play for 60 minutes. Like I said before, your 2023 49ers team consistently played at least 3 quarters of what that game looks like. 3 quarters of dominant football on both sides of the ball. And they have not done it yet this year. Even the Patriots game, which is the one game where we weren't super stressed out. I guess the Jets game, I wasn't super stressed out. But you need to figure out how to put all of this together. And now the good news is you're going on a bye week. Okay, you're going to get some dudes back. My overall take is you're still not a Super Bowl contender. You're not. 100%. The Lions look like the best team in the NFL right now. They look like juggernauts on all phases of the game. The Chiefs are going to do their thing. I guess I should just be talking NFC because I don't think the Niners are going to the Super Bowl. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I wouldn't take this game and feel like they look like they're back on track. Even if they had won this game 34, I thought the final score was going to be 34-10, and then things got weird. Even if they had finished the game that way, I still would be pretty skeptical. Like, I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. What I do think this team is very much in the mix for the division. I'm surprised the Cardinals got the win over the Dolphins. Cardinals might be a little better than I thought. The Seahawks are getting blown out at home. They've lost 3 straight games at home. Okay, and they're fighting on the sideline. They didn't put up any fight at all, it looked like. I think this is what I'm not surprised this is happening. I think Mike McDonald is going to be a very good coach, but in his first year, clearly, like, I don't want to say, I wouldn't say he's in over his head, but clearly there's more to being a head coach than there is just being a DC, and he's still figuring it out. But I think he's a really good coach. He's a young guy. He's going to figure that out. But I don't think this is their year. And at the end of the day, Geno Smith is still your quarterback. Now, it didn't help they had DK Metcalf out, but you've seen at times DK is a non-factor. At times he disappears. I know. I've got him on fantasy. Sometimes he disappears. But I'm just saying, I don't think Seattle is a true contender in the NFC West. Maybe. I actually probably would still take Seattle over Arizona. But the point is the division is weak. Now, actually, if we're going to just go there, the team I'm most worried about right now is the Rams because they've got Kupp back, they've got Puka back, you still have Stafford. That game was a short week on the road for the Vikings. They didn't play their best. So what are you going to get from the Rams? I don't know, but I know that this version of the Rams is scary. And we lost to them without either of those receivers. So that idea is scary. You could see the Rams go on some kind of run, and you're going to see the Rams-Seahawks play this week. That is a huge game. That I'm very interested in seeing. I would take at this moment in time, as I record this, I would take the Rams in that game because they're trending in the right direction, and Seattle is throwing punches on their own sideline. The point is the Niners are in the mix. Like, you're 4-4, bye week. The division clearly is up for grabs, and you're going to get CMC back. It sounds like you're going to get Hufanga back. Okay, I imagine after the bye you're going to get Hufanga back. You're going to get John Feliciano back. Now, I know there was reports this week they see him as like the 6th offensive lineman. I have a hard time seeing that. I think they're gonna give him some reps in practice with the ones to see if he can overtake Jake Brendel at center. But either way, it's good to have him. You're not getting Dre Greenlaw back just yet, but hopefully by like the Bills game is I think where you're going to get Dre Greenlaw back the first week of December. You get those guys back. If you can go on a run and get those guys back and maybe you really start to peak in December, like anything's possible. But you have to win the division. You have to win the division. You are not making the playoffs, not winning the division. I think 10 wins should win the division, but you're losing some tiebreakers right now. You're losing a tiebreaker to the Rams. You're losing a tiebreaker to the Cardinals. So those are must-win games. So if you got to win 6 more games to get to 10 wins. You have to beat the Rams. That's a Thursday night game, and you have to beat the Cardinals. Last game of the year, unless the Cardinals fall apart and you've already wrapped up the division going into week 18, you have to beat the Cardinals on the road week 18. So you need 4 more wins in there. You should, dare I say, you should beat Tampa Bay because you're coming off a bye week. Tampa Bay is super banged up. They won't have Mike Evans. They won't have Chris Godwin. Not only that, they are going to be Monday night football against the Chiefs that week. So they're going to have a short week, whereas you're coming off a bye. Like, you should win that game. You've owned Seattle in the past. You should beat Seattle at home, but Seattle's coming off a bye, so who knows what that'll look like. And then from there, you go Green Bay, Buffalo. Like, that's a tough, on the road, both games, like, that's a tough draw. So that's tough. You get Chicago at home. You get the Rams at home after that. You go to Miami, which on the road isn't easy, but Miami, man, even with Tua back, like, what are they doing? I don't know. So anyway, you got to find some wins. I feel good about their division hopes. I wouldn't put money on it at this point. Like, I don't, nothing about this team has made me feel like they're trustworthy. I can't trust them. I still can't trust them. I'm optimistic. I'm very cautiously optimistic, knowing that any game can turn sideways and feel weird. I don't have confidence in this team, not yet anyway, but I'm good. It's nice to get a win going into your bye, so you don't have to feel like crap for 2 weeks. And that's what I got. A lot of word vomit today. That was my overall reaction. Very excited, very hopeful with getting CMC back. I think this offense could really start to click. You get CMC back, things could really start to turn offensively. Defensively, you gotta play. You gotta hang tight until Greenlaw gets back. And when Greenlaw gets back, you don't even know what he's going to look like. Last thing. You're going into the bye week. You also have the trade deadline coming up. So that is what we're trade deadline watch for 49ers fans and the 49ers organization. Because if you're going to make a trade, the bye week's the week to do it, and it's coming up. They're going to add a defensive lineman. That's, I feel like, guaranteed. I don't know if it'll be a high-profile defensive lineman, but it could just be a rotational guy from another team that they're willing to give up a 6th-round pick for. But they're going to trade for a defensive lineman. I don't know about the receiver thing. That's the other one. You're going to get Jennings back after the bye. You'll get Jennings back after the bye, and then that's great. Your offense looks pretty decent. With how good Pearsall has looked, and he's going to be like an ascending player, I don't think it's a guarantee that you trade for a wide receiver. But if there's a good deal to be had, maybe they will. But trade deadline watch. That's what we're talking about this week, okay? Thank you. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much. Please like the video. Please just subscribe. Like, you help me out a ton. I'm a dad of 3. I work pretty hard at my day job. It'd be awesome to get this thing rolling. I can make some money, and you guys just liking the video and subscribing to the channel does that. 49er fans, please subscribe. Please subscribe, 49er fans. I have a lot of Vikings fans that have subscribed, a lot of Falcons fans that have subscribed. My dream is to just talk 49ers football, have 49ers fans watching and comment on the video. That would be great. But you guys are awesome. That's what I got. I'll have more content this week, and you guys are the best. I'm out. Go Niners.